Imagine a football team drowning in a sea of injuries, their season hanging by a thread, only to be rescued by a quarterback's unbreakable spirit. That's the dramatic reality for the Los Angeles Chargers, who clawed back from the edge in a heart-pounding 29-27 triumph over the Miami Dolphins. But here's where it gets controversial. Can one player's heroics really carry an entire franchise, or is this a recipe for disaster down the line? Let's dive into the details of this nail-biting game and explore what it means for their future. Miami Gardens, Florida, served as the stage for a matchup that felt like a lifeline for the Chargers, who've been battling wave after wave of setbacks since August. Key players along the offensive line have been sidelined repeatedly, turning what started as a promising 3-0 record into a frustrating 2-game skid. Eking their heads above water amidst these challenges has tested the team's resilience like never before. For beginners in football, think of the offensive line as the protective wall that guards the quarterback from fierce defenders. Without them, the whole operation becomes a high-stakes gamble. On this crucial Sunday, Justin Herbert emerged as the Chargers' ultimate savior in a contest they simply couldn't afford to drop. His late-game brilliance might have just preserved their playoff hopes. Coach Jim Harbaugh summed it up perfectly. "He's Hercules to me," referring to his quarterback's godlike strength. The Chargers' defense, however, unraveled spectacularly in the fourth quarter, frittering away a commanding 13-point advantage. The Dolphins capitalized with touchdowns on consecutive possessions, surging ahead with just 46 seconds left. Miami's running back Devon Achane dominated, amassing 48 of his 150 total scrimmage yards. That's yards gained through rushing, receiving, or passing. Basically all ball-carrying plays in that final frame alone. On the game-changing score, the Chargers secondary lost track of tight end Darren Waller, allowing quarterback Tua Tagovailoa to hit him in the end zone corner. It seemed the game, and possibly the season, was slipping away when Herbert trotted onto the field from his own 41-yard line. Special teams had delivered with a stellar kickoff return, and running back Nyheim Miller-Hines, called up from the practice squad, burst through a gap to secure excellent positioning for the offense. Throughout the match, the Chargers had cleverly avoided deep drop scenarios to shield their patchwork offensive line. They plugged in 5th and 6th string tackles like Austin Deculus on the left and Bobby Hart on the right. Veterans like Rashawn Slater out for the year, Joe Alt sitting out with a high ankle sprain, Trey Pipkins and Jamari Salyer, both inactive due to knee woes, were absent, forcing a strategy centered on safeguarding these rookies and reserves. This approach had worked well, keeping the Chargers in rhythm. But with the clock ticking and a 2-minute drill needed to reach field goal territory, they had no choice but to let Herbert drop back, and the heat was on. On first down, Herbert was engulfed by Dolphins defenders, yet he managed a hurried throw over the middle that fell incomplete, saving their last timeout. Second down brought collapse on the right side, where guard Mekhi Becton and Hart couldn't hold. Edge rushers Chop Robinson and Jalen Phillips charged freely at Herbert. Herbert nimbly sidestepped Robinson, only to face Phillips, who had blown past Becton. As Phillips lunged to strip the ball, Herbert deftly switched it to his other hand, then hurled Phillips aside while keeping his balance. In one fluid motion, he launched a precise pass to receiver Ladd McConkey in the left flat. McConkey halted instantly, faking out safety Dante Trader Jr., and sprinted down the sideline. Running back Hassan Haskins joined the fray, blocking linebacker Jordan Brooks in hot pursuit. The resulting catch and run covered 42 yards. A few plays later, kicker Cameron Dicker sealed it with a 33-yard field goal. Harbaugh was awestruck. "That play will be burned in my mind until they throw dirt over top of me." Herbert's pocket poise bordered on the superhuman. Shaking off tacklers has become his signature. He echoed this in a Week 3 victory against the Denver Broncos, where Zach Allen barreled through untouched. Tight end Will Dissly compared him to legends like Ben Roethlisberger, the guys that just everywhere it and still sling it. He's a problem. He's a real problem. And this is the part most people miss. Despite missing wideout Quentin Johnston to a hamstring issue, McConkey shouldered the passing attack, hauling in 7 catches for 100 yards. He even notched the Chargers' initial touchdown with a third-quarter red zone dash, but his game-saving reception stole the show. McConkey reflected, "When I caught it, I saw it was one-on-one. As a receiver, when you catch the ball, you gotta make the first one miss. Whatever happens after that happens." Offensively, the Chargers performed admirably under the circumstances. They had openings to dominate early but settled for field goals instead. Given their line's fragility, Coach Jim Harbaugh and coordinator Greg Roman crafted a savvy plan. "We played the way we needed to win," Herbert noted. The ground game thrived against Miami's weak run defense, limiting the Dolphins' pass rushers and allowing the Chargers to control the tempo. Running back Kimani Vidal exploded for 124 yards on 18 carries, shattering his prior career best of 34 yards. With stars like Najee Harris, Achilles, and Omarion Hampton, ankle, sidelined, Vidal seized the moment. As a 2024 sixth-round pick, who started on the practice squad after being cut from the main roster, he credited his decision to stay with the team. "I feel like before this game, I just haven't done much on the field. I wanted to just do more," Vidal said. Center Bradley Bozeman praised him. "He did everything in his power today to will us to a victory." Defensively, though, the Chargers have glaring issues. They've surrendered an average of 153.7 rushing yards in their last 3 games, including back-to-back 100-yard efforts. A chain racked up 128 yards rushing, highlighted by a 49-yard first-quarter touchdown. On the bright side, they intercepted Tagovailoa 3 times, with cornerback Benjamin St. Justi's pick in the third quarter setting up a Chargers touchdown. But here's where it gets controversial. The run defense is alarmingly leaky, and some might argue the team is too dependent on turnovers to mask deeper problems. Missing edge rusher Khalil Mack, IR since Week 3, a hobbled Derwin James Jr. wrist, and Diane Henley recovering from illness leaves them exposed. "We gotta clean that up because some of the same plays are showing up, some of the same runs," James warned. "As a defense, we gotta close it out." Even against a struggling Tagovailoa, the Chargers let Miami rally via the run. Critics might say this exposes a lack of discipline or depth, sparking debate on whether Harbaugh's scheme needs a shakeup. Still, a victory is a victory. At 4-2, the Chargers remain unbeaten in 4 AFC games. They weathered the storm until help arrives. Alt and Mack are on the mend. With a tough slate ahead, dropping this one could have been crippling. "We needed to win to get back on track," St. Just said. Thanks to Herbert and McConkey, disaster was averted. The Chargers have flaws, but their season lives on. That's something to build on, Harbaugh concluded. What do you think, fans? Is Justin Herbert the unstoppable force that can drag the Chargers to glory? Or does this highlight a dangerous over-reliance on individual brilliance? And should the defense's repeated run-stopping failures be a bigger concern? Share your opinions in the comments. Do you agree, disagree, or have a counterpoint? Let's discuss.